Good afternoon, everybody, from sunny, partly cloudy Denver/Englewood, Colorado. Byron, hey everybody, Mike. Farlap, what's up? Oh, hey, I gotta have lots of new people in here today. This is gonna be awesome. So, before they get heads up of me coming in here, let's just go on in and stick with me here and you'll see what's gonna go down. Remember good old Englewood PD. That's the last video I published. Hi Grace, hi Liberty Bear, and Graham Speth. Hey, good to see you in here. So today has been a very interesting day. So here we go. Could get a lot more interesting. Hi there. I'm good, thank you. So is somebody here from command staff? Because I got a couple issues that I gotta get handled.
Okay, yeah, sure, I can get someone to get down to speak to you.
That would be awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much. So, very nice greeting. Greeted me by first name. So Englewood's got some issues, and we're about to discuss some more of them today. And we're not going to do that until they get down here. And we'll see if they come. In the meantime, in case you were wondering how to properly recycle, here's the do's and don'ts. Don't put plastic utensils in here, nor styrofoam, nor napkins or paper towels, or any shredded paper, and heaven forbid you put a plastic bag in here. But you can put plastic bottles, cardboard, metal, aluminum, paper, not shredded, and glass. I've always found recycling to be one of the biggest hoaxes on the planet, but hey, you know, not the time nor the place. How is everybody today? Rochelle, how are you? Hey, Liz. DMA, how are you? Good to see you in here. Karen. DMA is saying, tell them who you saw. Well, so interestingly, there was this one time DMA and I went over to the municipal building, which is across the way here. Remember, Englewood has their own multi-gazillion dollar building here all to themselves. And then the big ass giant municipal courts and city offices and everything occupy the old Cinderella city, if anybody's familiar with that. But anyway, so we went in there one day, we had some business, and there was a woman in there that pulled the, well, she didn't do it, but hang on just a second. Yes, ma'am.
3:30, and there's no one here in command. They actually all are at a funeral, but we do have officers out. Would you like to speak to someone?
Oh, it's 3:30 on a Friday, and nobody from command staff is here.
Yeah,
and there is that funeral today.
But there's a few officers here that's on call.
Well, I don't think it's probably appropriate of another officer to take a complaint.
You want to take in a complaint?
Yeah, and it's actually a pretty serious complaint because one of your officers failed to show up to court this morning.
Okay.
And so I really think command staff needs to deal with this, and of course.
Speak to like a supervisor. supervisor.
Supervisor on patrol.
Yeah, that it would only be a patrol supervisor because everybody else at that funeral.
Who is that? Do you know?
Who's like the people's out?
Who's the supervisor on duty right now for patrol?
Who's on patrol tonight? What? She's checking. Hang on.
Thank you.
Huh? Oh, it's Sergeant Jessen.
Sergeant Jessen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, we can start there because
Right.
yeah.
You want to hang out for a little while?
Yeah.
They're actually doing that switch right now.
It's shift change as
Yeah,
well.
shift change.
So he's probably here in the building too. So,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I don't mind waiting.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. So, there's an officer funeral today, that officer in Arvada that got killed in the line of duty. So that means, that everybody's unavailable. I thought that funeral was way earlier today, but I might be wrong. So we'll see how this goes. And the reason I'm having to do it this way is because if you try to file a complaint online, for whatever reason, they've just decided to, I don't know, not respond to complaints. They lose them. Their sergeant was gone all the time that handled the complaints. The last complaint I had took him, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months. He could never really get to the bottom of it. Couldn't send me a determination, blah, 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 blah. So, and you can't contact anybody via email because they don't advertise any emails on the website except for the chief of police, Watson. And if you email him, he doesn't get his emails. He doesn't have to. I don't even know if the guy even has a job, really, or if they're just pretending like they have a police chief. I don't know what's going on. So we're going to document this today. And I have some questions that I need answered because I did a records request. But anyway, before we get to that, let me back up and finish telling my story that DMA wanted me to mention. So we'd gone over to the Englewood Municipal Center, and you'll see the video. I think it's on his channel. I don't know. DMA, if you remember the name of the video, can you put it in here? And by the way, do I have any mods in here? I don't, do I? Okay, well, people better behave, or I'll just kick you out. It's going to be that simple. So, Bokomo, how are you? I've been meaning to text you. I hope everything's okay. I do have a few, Melissa? Okay, all right. Maybe they're just listening right now. So anyway, we go over there, and we're just minding our own business, and some woman is in the foyer with striking red hair. I mean, red hair. And she's hanging some signs, and DMA is having a conversation with her. There it is. There's the name of the video. Karen calls the cops on a free American for asking questions. So we're just minding our own business and asking her about the signs she's hanging up, and DMA asks her her name, and she didn't want to tell her name. So that prompts DMA to keep the camera on her because that always is a red flag when public employees are acting a little bit suspicious. We want to investigate. So he kept asking her for her name, and she wouldn't give her name. And so I guess that prompted her to walk up to the receptionist guy who was managing the reception desk at the time, this elderly guy, and tells him to push the panic button. Right? Y'all, some of you remember this, right? Hey, Lenny, good to see you. Oh, I'm talking from the heart. So in the midst of all of that, I couldn't use the bathroom because I'm just a lowly citizen peasant. So I'm out here arguing with this guy about swiping his badge so I can get into the bathroom, and he's asking me who I am, and I'm asking him who he is. In the meantime, They're calling the cops because DMA is over here asking this woman her name. It was a good time. It's a good video. You should go watch it if you have a minute. And if I have a mod in here that could put the link up. DMA, I'm trying to make you a mod, but I don't know how to do it on this phone. So another time. I know how to do it on my iPhone, but not my Android. I'd make you a mod so you could put the link in. But anyway, so the Englewood cops show up. How many? 4 deep that day? Holy shit. We probably had to have every, what is it? What is it with all these resources for people with cameras, but when it comes to real crime, they can't get their shit together to save their lives. So yeah, the cops show up. They of course determine that we're doing nothing wrong. It turns out that there may have been some lying going on about why she called the cops to begin with. But they all went and hid behind the doors, and DMA and I ended up telling Englewood that they did a nice job, and for the most part, except for the female officer that was there, she's got a problem with me because lo and behold, she was the subject of an internal affairs complaint that I was trying to tell you about that took months and months and months to even get acknowledged. So Englewood has shown that they now don't really take their complaints serious, so, or at least even document them. So I'm just going to do this on camera because we'll see if they're going to come out. I hear some noises up there. All their cameras in here. I see every single light is still on here. I was here the other night. I posted a couple videos about telling them to turn off the lights. Here it is, broad daylight. They still have every fucking light on in this building. Look at this. Broad daylight. Why? Why do these even need to be on? Well, at least they're not on over there in that, in those rooms over there. Yeah, Rochelle, that's the one who told me I had to go downstairs to use the bathroom. Hey, living with COVID. Regan is shook. Poor man's Brady. Welcome in. Oh, I'm shook, all right. You're having to start a barbecue, but you'll listen, Karen? That's good. That's good. Well, I guarantee you, they're all logging in right now to try to figure out how they're going to approach this one. But we're not going to talk about what I'm doing here until they get out here to come talk to me. So we'll see how it goes. Anthony V. Hill, I'm trying to piss on that cop's grave today. Look, I'm telling you, you're all entitled, to your opinions, and we all have formed what we think about policing in America, mostly due to our own personal experiences. And, while I don't advocate for that level of violence, I tend to understand why it is occurring. I don't think this, I'm not going to say anything about the circumstances of that Arvada cop getting shot, because, look, unless we see video, unless we were there to piece things together, I do not ever take the mainstream media's reporting at face value, because there's always another side, and it's always deeper. And there's another high-profile case making the news this week in Colorado from Clear Creek County, and it is a hideous, sad, terrible story. And a young man called for help, having some kind of mental health crisis in January, and the cops showed up, and an hour later, the first responding officer got on the hood of that young man's vehicle and shot him 7 times through the windshield, because They feared for their lives because he supposedly had a knife. And he was in his car. He hadn't gotten out of his car. He hadn't advanced on anyone. Yeah, Melissa, they don't report the facts. And it's very sad. It's very sad that a cop died. And that's going to pull on all of America. There's speculation that he was there for some domestic violence call, and the suspect ended up shooting the woman and the cop. I don't know. That's what they're reporting. But yeah, that cop was only 27. So I'm sure there's a lot of sadness left behind. But I don't know the particulars to form an opinion. Other than I just find it interesting that this is the only profession that can literally shut down on a given day when it's time to attend a funeral for a law enforcement officer. They have no connection to him, none whatsoever, didn't know him until he's dead. And then all of law enforcement cares and shuts down. Really? Yeah. Only in government. Yeah, it's a whole day thing. Can anybody Google that and tell me what time that funeral was today? Tons of kids police have taken away from their families by shooting them dead, Anthony. Yes, you're exactly right. And I don't know why, but nobody shuts down for that. No police department shut down when they wrongfully murder people. Oh, thank you, Lois. Lois, it started at 10 a.m., huh? Yeah, it's long been over. So, yeah, they take the whole day off. Robert, and qualified immunity. Yeah, completely. I'm all for that. Rochelle, a couple people have posted that it was 10 a.m. our time, Rochelle, so that funeral has been over. It was done and over at noon. So I guess, it's a paid day off for all of law enforcement, especially command staff. Yeah, PICS went up 7 hours ago. Poor man's Brady. Let's learn some more about you. What brings you in here? Down with dope, up with hope. Did anyone know the allegedly killed officer personally? Yeah, I would like to know that. Yeah, Melissa, they investigate themselves, so it's not a wrongful shooting. I know. I don't know why anybody thinks things are going to change or get better, because they're not. This whole faction of a government-ran monopoly on force is going to have to be dismantled. This and public education are the two biggest threats to freedom that this country is facing. Have I audited the Denver Post office? Oh, on Jefferson. No, I don't do that, Valerie. There's a lot of confusion that I'm just this full-time auditor, and I'm not. And I really don't even do audits. I'll go along with people, or on rare occasion, very rare occasion, I'll go along with people to understand what's going on. But if I end up doing any type of audit, it's because the business that I deal in whether it be helping a homeless individual or helping somebody obtain records or whatever. It'll take me into facets of government that just end up getting audited. It's not even an audit. It's just called watch our government at work or not, which we're entitled to do. So yeah, that's how that works. Hey, K-Dot, how are you? Ellie is on a little break right now. She's dealing with some there's one of the officers from this morning is over here. Sorry, I was just kind of checking that out. No, she is taking a break. She's dealing with some family issues right now and her health issues. So, but she's well. I hear from her. Everything's fine. It's just we have to focus our attention in different ways. Robert Lindsay, when seconds count, police are minutes away. Amen. Hey, Excalibur, how are you? Our country would work if the three parts of government weren't in bed together. Maybe. Hi, Dupree. Before you go dismantling everything, you've got to have a better system? You know, that leads to an interesting discussion about what people actually think anarchy is, and that people can't behave themselves without a system. Well, we do it all day long. If you really start breaking it down. Why must they make you wait so long? Because they don't know what to do. Absolutely, Rochelle. They are hoping I'm just going to go away. So Sergeant Jessen's supposed to be coming out here. They're at shift change right now. Aaron Alder, I want to be Regan Benson when I grow up. Keep spitting that fire, Miss B. You know, when it's appropriate to do so, I will. Because I don't negotiate with tyrants. I'm just here following process today, and the process is pretty broken. And so it's good to keep documenting that it's broken, because people will say, well, you didn't do this, and you didn't do that, and you didn't use the process. Well, I've used the process quite a bit, and things are still pretty broken. I'm just kind of checking it out back there behind the glass. There's a lot of scurrying going on. And I would encourage you, part of the reason I'm here today is I've always said before, take some time and go into a courtroom and watch some actual prosecution go down or attempt to go down. So yeah, here's a little teaser before anybody comes out here, if they even do. I was in a courtroom today with my friend Jerry, for those of you that know Jerry. We have good news, and we have kind of anxious news about the closing of Quality Inn today, where we have John and Jerry over at the Protective Action Room site that was designated with COVID dollars to keep the unhoused, the most vulnerable, sheltered. Jerry did get housing, but Jerry has, yeah, here we go, hold on. Hi.
Hi.
Are you Sergeant Jessen?
No,
Who are you?
Sergeant McKay.
Sergeant McKay. You are a sergeant
Yes.
on patrol right now?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the only one in command staff that can address my concerns. So do you have your body cam on? You
Yes.
do? Okay. So I want to make a formal complaint
Okay.
on Officer Smith.
Okay. What's the allegation?
So the allegation is that Officer Smith was subpoenaed to court today for a criminal case, and he didn't show up.
Well,
So,
that's your impression.
well, I was there. So it's not an impression at all. So ask some questions
Officer Smith was there,
at 11:40.
and they continued.
I know what went on, except the problem is that he was subpoenaed to be there at 10 o'clock, and he didn't show up. And it was on the record from the prosecution that Officer Smith had accepted service, so he knew that he was supposed to be there at 10 o'clock today. So you and I aren't going to have an argument about
I'm
this.
not arguing with you.
You're trying to. You're trying to, and I'm telling you that I'm filing a complaint. So are you going to take my complaint or argue with me?
I'm going to refer you to our internal affairs.
Okay, then get them down here.
Okay. No one's here available right now.
You know what? I don't work on your schedule, so somebody needs to take my complaint. I used your internal affairs process before, and it didn't work.
Okay. Well, that's our process.
Well, your process doesn't work, so you're here to take my complaint because I'm not going to do it with internal affairs online or on the phone. And if they're not here, you are the next in command, so you're taking my complaint.
I will forward it to them.
So let me finish the complaint. Are you going to write it down? How are you going to do that?
What's your complaint? I already heard it. Officer Smith, you're alleging that Officer Smith did not show up for court at his designated subpoenaed time.
That's correct.
Okay.
So I want an incident number or a case number or something to refer to.
Excuse me, westbound lane, east of Santa Fe on
Have to wait a
Hampton.
minute.
There's a red 99 Pontiac Grand Am pulled over near the exit ramp. RPC is an elderly couple with a flat tire, which is like welfare check.
And then what's your name, ma'am?
Regan, R-E-G-A-N.
Last name, please?
Benson,
B-E-N-S-O-N?
correct.
Thank you.
And your birthday?
You don't need that.
Well, that's part of the complaint.
No, it's
process.
not.
What's your address?
You don't need my address either.
What's your phone number?
You don't need my phone
How are we
number.
going to get back with you?
I'll give you an email.
Okay, what's your email?
Regan, R-E-G-A-N, at helpinghands4dignity.org, all spelled out.
For dignity, what else?
.org. Regan at helpinghands4dignity.org,
Okay.
all spelled out. And I'm going to give you a secondary email. Q-U-A, D as in dog, B as in boy, the number 2 at AOL.com.
Do you know what the defendant's name was?
Jerry Lewis. In the Jerry Lewis criminal case.
Okay, anything else?
Yes,
Okay.
one more thing. So I did a records request this week with the city on your contracts for towing, and this should be something you should be able to answer for me. And the city came back that the police department doesn't have a current contract with any tow company for any tows. So, what is the Englewood Police Department using for tow services?
Frankly, I can't answer that. I know we have had contracts. I don't know if it's current.
It is not current. So who do you use right now if you go out there and there's an accident and you need a tow? What towing service are you using?
Conley's.
You're using Conley's?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the city only has a contract with Conley's for street sweeping services. They don't have a contract with Conley's for anything with the police department. They had a contract that was up in 2018 for towing services with the police department, but that contract hasn't been renewed. So I'm trying to understand.
I think it's been renewed since 2018.
No, it hasn't. They didn't supply that in the records request return. They supplied the old contract that was up in 18 and the new Conley's contract for street sweeping services only. But you're still using Conley's.
Correct.
So I was out the other day and there was Dick's Towing. Why is Dick's operating under Conley's?
They're partners,
They are partners.
from my understanding, yes.
Okay, except they don't have a contract. So
No,
that's what's concerning to me. So I would like someone from the police department to give me a formal and official statement about what tow services are being used under what contract.
I would refer you to the city attorney's office.
No, the city attorney, no, I already did the records request and they came back with the contracts. There are no contracts. So this is back to the police department because you guys don't act with the city. You have your own, you're supposed to, but you're not. And that's what I'm trying to understand, why the police department is using tow services with no contract. So I'm in the right place to come back to the police department to ask that question, not the city attorney, because you guys are still calling for tows. You're using tow companies that aren't under contract.
We use Conley's.
Well, Conley's wasn't out here the other day.
Conley's is affiliated with Dick's Towing.
Yeah, I see in those previous contracts that they're affiliated, but there is no contract for Conley's or Dick's to do any work for the police department. So someone in this police department knows why that is happening. Who would that be?
The ultimate responsibility would be the chief of police.
Okay, so can you write a note to him to respond to me via email at those email addresses I just gave you and explain what's going on with the towing services for the police department? Could you do that since you don't know?
I can refer you. I can pass on the message to the chief.
So you will ask Chief Watson to respond to my question via email, and I can expect to see a response from him.
I can't tell you.
Well, he doesn't respond via email, that's the problem.
I can refer your request to him.
That I want a response via email
Yes, you would like a response.
about what is going on with the tow services that Englewood PD is engaging in. I need to understand why you guys are using Dick's primarily when your contract is with Connolly's. And if you're going off the old contract, the chief of police asks for every employee of the tow company to submit their name and date of birth with the police department. And I want to understand why a guy by the name of Herb, employed by Dick's Towing, was out on a tow called by Englewood and then came back after the call was over and started filming everybody.
I can't answer that
That's
for
what
you.
I'm telling you. That's why I'm telling you that's why I'm here, because I need answers to these
I can't
questions.
answer why he was filming, and I can't answer why you're.
Well, you could, if I had the answer to what's going on with why Englewood is engaging in these kinds of
Why are
towing
you
practices, I'd have that answer.
Why are you filming?
Why am I filming?
Yes.
Because I absolutely can film you on duty.
Okay, that's probably the same.
No,
thing
it
as
wasn't
Dick's
the
Towing.
same, because the guy came back and harassed private citizens
Yeah, I wasn't
after the
there.
call.
I can't comment on it.
Well, okay, you're asking me and I'm telling you. I'm not asking you to comment on it. I'm telling you these are the problems.
Okay, I'll get back with
See, this is the problem. You guys don't listen. You
No, I
want
heard
to
everything you
just
said.
argue.
you. Okay. I think we're finished.
Well, I don't think we are. I would like your card, please. And tell Chief Watson that I expect to get an email response.
I can forward the information to the chief.
that I want an email response. Please.
Okay.
And next time, don't argue.
Nobody's
Just,
arguing.
you argued with me right off the bat. You didn't want to take my complaint. You wanted to try to prove why Officer Smith didn't have to show up to court until 11:40. That's not your job when you're taking a complaint.
He was there.
He was there at 11:40. He should have had a warrant for his arrest, just like the judge issued a warrant for the other person that accepted subpoena service and didn't show up to court. She issued an arrest warrant for him. But you guys get a free pass, and it's bullshit. Put that in the complaint. It's bullshit that Smith got a free pass for not showing up to court this morning. True story. And they've left. Let's go. Time to go. Phones are going to start ringing. There you have it. So, these guys, they don't know how to handle shit. They can't do their job from the get-go with even taking a complaint and responding. So then you get people showing up. Look at this place. Something like $30 million on this. They are just much too important to be bothered, especially on a day of a funeral for a cop that none of them even knew. And it's Friday. I mean, who fucking works on Friday, right? So this is All Health. These are the contracted services for mental health crisis, or their CERT team, or whatever they call it over here. They were out there the other day when they were towing Joey. And look at this place. So, this morning in court in Arapahoe County, and I'm not going to comment about the details of the case because they're in the middle of trying to prosecute Jerry with the bullshit known as Englewood PD. This case happened clear back in January of 2020. And they're alleging some pretty serious shit. And guess what? The bulk of it's a lie. And Jerry's got a really good public defender team. Just ran that stop sign. No lights, no siren. Really? Just ran it. It's so amazing what you see. And over here is the Denver Fire Department that serves the city of Englewood, station number 37, because Englewood contracts with Denver to have fire services. So that's why you just saw the Denver Health paramedic run the stop sign. So anyway, today was a motions hearing, and not only was it a waste of, my time, the court's time, everybody's time, Jerry's time, it was a shit show because the prosecution called witnesses that decided they didn't have to show up. One of them being this cop, Smith, and you've seen him in my videos before. I actually came and gave some officers a commendation for how they handled themselves, and he was there and took that commendation. You'll see him on a video being a jackass over here at the Ross store. It's on my channel. He was arresting somebody, and I just happened to be there, so I started filming it, and he decided to get lippy with me. So, you know, he thinks he's pretty special. So this morning, those witnesses were him, Smith, and another cop here, Sage, who showed up for court, and the reporting party that called the cops to say Jerry committed this particular crime. Guess who was not in court this morning at 10 o'clock? The reporting party, who the judge immediately issued a warrant for his arrest because he'd been subpoenaed. This cop, who had accepted service, Smith, knew he was supposed to be in court this morning at 10 o'clock. The prosecution put on the record that she had no idea why he wasn't at court this morning. She couldn't get a hold of him. And the courts verified that he'd accepted service and his subpoena, and he's nowhere to be found until 11:40. When, I'm sure, he had the day off as well for the funeral, right? So I suppose he was in bed this morning when the prosecution said, "Hey, where are you?" Probably checked his voicemail and hopped in the shower and went, "Oh shit." He walks into that courtroom at 11:40. The judge was already pissed off that her time was being wasted, but she let the prosecution go ahead with the case. It was a motions hearing to suppress evidence. I think the defense's motion should have been immediately granted when the prosecution couldn't produce the key witnesses for the motions hearing, and the cop should have been held accountable because the reporting party now has a warrant out for his arrest. They think they are so supreme, and the judge letting them get away with that. This is why the justice system has become the just us system. And this is what I was just saying before McKay came out. Here we go. McKay, Sergeant McKay. No badge number, no nothing on here. Just Sergeant McKay. I have the employee database. I'll go look it up and see how long he's been here. I suspect he's probably been here 40 years as well. This is what I was saying about really understanding criminal prosecution, and especially when it comes to the homeless. Rockport Rights enthusiasts, thank you for all you do for our freedom. You're awesome. Absolutely. Glad to do it. Another one for the barbecue, Irish Rover. Yeah. M. McKay. Don't want to take my complaint. Wants to argue and justify why Smith showed up an hour and 40 minutes late to court when it had already been determined that he didn't show up in time from the subpoena. Well, the reporting party didn't get until 11:40 to show up to court. Nobody called him, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe the prosecution did try to call him, but regardless, he didn't get the same concessions as the cop did before the warrant was issued. That judge immediately issued a warrant for the reporting party's arrest for not showing up to court. Immediately. So they're going to try to bury Jerry in this case, and Jerry has been consistently fighting it, and we have been going to court. I hate cops. Hello, Regan. I just subscribed. Much love from Wisconsin. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the new subs and the people that are new to my channel. I hope people understand what my work is about and that it's rooted in trying to help those on the streets, at least with their simple right to survive. As you'll see, my last video published had everything to do with Englewood and what Englewood was doing. So if you watch that last video, they're trying to tow a woman's home, essentially, and you see some really bad behavior by not only the cops trying to circumvent process, but the tow company. So I did a records request this week with the city of Englewood to return those contracts that they have with towing companies. And the two contracts I was provided with, one expired in 2018. It seems the city's been running rogue on their tow services. So as far as the kickbacks, yeah, you heard those cops tell my friend as they were going to tow her home, how are you going to make good with the tow company? How's that tow company getting paid? And Herb did come back to the scene a couple hours later and started filming everybody that was trying to help my friend. They told him to kick rocks and he said that he was free to record, except he was there to harass. And he was there either on the orders of the city or as a pissed off tow truck driver that didn't get the $1,000 tow that day. So Englewood, once again, is caught up in nefarious activity. I have so much documentation with Englewood PD doing really bad shit. And back in 2020, they had no body cams. And the story that they're trying to tell about Jerry is all told by the cops. And the reporting party, who is now MIA with a warrant for his arrest. So, stay tuned on this criminal case. The motions hearing was continued because the cop was late at 11:40 as the judge bitched out the attorneys for wasting her time. Bitched them out, told them that this motions hearing was not scheduled for 2 hours, and you do this and you did that, and I need to know this and I need to know that, and I guess we'll have to set this over, but how long is the next motions hearing going to be? Instead of just doing her damn job and making a ruling. It is mind-blowing, the shit judges do. And this is the crux in America, people. You think the judges aren't the most powerful? You think the cops hold all the power? No, it's the judges. Many of us know that, but far too many people will ignore what's going on with their local judges, and we just keep retaining them over and over and over. People won't take the time or exhibit any civic duty to go and witness for yourself to see how your judges are behaving and performing. And you wonder why our Supreme Court is in shambles, why our state Supreme Courts are in shambles. It's the people's fault. Ellie, you're here. Thanks for popping in. I'm sorry to have bugged you. I'm really glad to see you here. I hope everything is okay today, Ellie. I didn't want to bug you, but thank you for being in here. MLH, I called to ask if they were going to replace her lock. They hung up on me. Was that the tow company or the police department? This one? Poor man's Brady gets blocked. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie. Oh, Lucinator, thank you very, very much. If you don't have productive dialogue, you don't have to agree, but you better have something productive to either comment on or start good dialogue on, because if you're in here to insult me, you're taking up space on my platform, and I will block you, and you won't come back. And if you try to come back, I'll block you again. So that's how that works. You tried to call Dick's Towing? Okay. Watching WNY, how are you? Thanks for being in here. So that's today's scoop. And I just wanted to do that live stream. I can guarantee you that Watson is not going to respond to me. He never has. He doesn't have to. Sean Lewis, the city manager, is apparently fine with how he conducts business with the public. He got all hemmed up in records. They dropped the ball in responding to records requests. The city doesn't care. They don't care that they're subjecting the entire city to not following the Cora laws. So we'll see. But Englewood needs an extra set of eyes. I mean, it's not like every agency doesn't need an extra set of eyes, because they do. Because aside from the corruption, just the blatant unprofessionalism is worth documenting, I guess. People should see how a police agency is operating. He asked me why I'm recording. You gonna ask me why I'm recording you? Interesting. It's a little toasty out here today. Is Damon in here? Damon Reeves, how are you? Coming in late. Mad love and respect for you, Regan. Thank you, Damon. Very nice to see you pop in. Irrelevant responses are just to avoid the legal penalties for non-response. Thank you. That's correct. Every town needs a Regan. Every agency, every government agency across this country needs a person that will do their civic duty and go hold them accountable. Thank you, Ellie, for posting all the ways to donate. If you would like to continue to support my work with Direct Street Outreach with the homeless, those are the ways to donate. And they are in the About section as well. Yeah, that's my impression. Aaron, thank you. McDonald's manager trying to take a complaint. Well, that's your impression. That's right. The next day at the unemployment office. Not here. Not here. They absolutely are above the citizenry. Customer service, They don't ever have to. And so for those of you that wonder why we don't get anywhere when we talk civilly, and I had the dumbest comment made about chewing out these Englewood cops the other day. That's what they respond to. How come you people don't get that? You people that think you can negotiate with sweet, kind, intelligent words with cops, you can get them to respond better. Well, you're wrong. So I'm right. And when a tyrant pig is acting like a tyrant pig, they're going to get talked to like a tyrant pig. It is just really that simple. And those tyrant pigs didn't want to get caught on camera doing what they were doing, and they got caught. Why do people think it's time to negotiate with sweetness and kindness when you catch cops doing the kind of shit like they did to Joey the other day? Ain't gonna happen. Not on my watch. If you want to come out here and kiss and love on them, you go right ahead, because I'd love to film it. Irish Rover, I speak the best pig Latin. Yes, good pig Latin. All right, you guys. Well, happy Friday. I hope you all have a very wonderful weekend. I'm going to drop another fun tongue lashing. I might do that here in a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'll save it for tomorrow. It's a good one. And then I'm going to drop another video and recap what they did to Chandra over in Denver when they stole her home with a warrant. I want you to seal it. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to spread the word about this kind of tyranny that should not be happening. So I'm going to drop a couple videos, static videos, here in the next day or 2 or 3 or 4. And I think next week I am going to go ahead and agree to go do a panel with Denver Metro Audits, DMA, and we're going to break down this last video over here in Englewood when they attempted to tow Joey's home. So stay tuned for that. And if you're not subscribed to Denver Metro Audits, you'll want to do that. I like that he has the audience and the intelligence within his followers to have the dialogue instead of just the attacks. So I do love panels. I'd like to start doing some of my own. I need to get into a position where I have a mod doing a panel with me. We'll get there. We're working on that. So we can invite other people into our panel and start discussing some of these things. Because some deeper level discussion is needed. And people have questions and concerns. And I want there to be honest dialogue about why people have a right to survive. And what happens when the rubber meets the road in this country and you become unhoused. So stay tuned for some of that dialogue. That won't be until next week, but we're gonna get on that. But I gotta go, Anthony. I gotta go. So we will thank you, Justin Flow Arts. I love your videos and your approach and the way you speak to these people. You are awesome and you're beautiful. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hit it hard, Regan. Verbal judo on steroids. Thanks, Damon. Well, you know, polarizing times call for polarizing speech. And when you're acting like a polarizing dick-faced, cop-sucking dick tyrant, it's pretty polarizing. It gets your attention, doesn't it? Listen up. Use it or lose it, people. Use it or lose it. Thank you, Liberty Blair. Everybody have a good weekend, and we'll touch base soon. Thanks, Irish Rover.